August 8, 1943, off the coast of Kolombangara, Solomon Islands. Night, black as oil. A small wooden boat, barely 80 feet long, cuts through the dark, its engines growl, struggling against the Pacific surf. On board, 13 young men, exhausted, drenched and silent. Ahead of them, the faint outline of a giant. The Japanese heavy cruiser Kirishima Maru, 13,000 tons of steel, bristling with guns. The American boat closing in? PT-109, commanded by a young lieutenant, John F. Kennedy. Tonight, courage would not be measured in firepower, but in will. By mid-1943, the Solomon Islands had become a graveyard of ships, each reef and bay, scarred by months of brutal fighting between the U.S. Navy and Imperial Japan. The Japanese supply lines, called the Tokyo Express, ran under cover of darkness. Destroyers raced through the night, delivering men and munitions to islands under siege. To stop them, America unleashed something small and fast. Patrol torpedo boats. PT boats. 80 tons, built mostly of wood. Armed with 4 torpedoes, a few machine guns, and the nerve of the men who manned them. They called them the Mosquito Fleet. Tiny stingers in a war of giants. But their mission was deadly. To face steel leviathans, in boats that could be shattered by a single shell. On the night of August 8th, Kennedy's PT-109 waited in ambush near Blackett Strait. It was one of 15 boats tasked with intercepting Japanese destroyers, running supplies to Kolombangara. Radar was scarce, communication unreliable. The night, pitch dark. When the Japanese ships appeared, they came fast, destroyers cutting through the water at over 30 knots. Kennedy's boat spotted nothing, and then, without warning, disaster. A black shape loomed out of the dark. The Japanese destroyer Amagiri, 2,000 tons of steel bearing straight toward them. Kennedy shouted for full throttle. Too late. At 2:30 a.m., Amagiri sliced PT-109 clean in two. Fire erupted. Gasoline spread across the surface like a burning mirror. 2 men killed instantly. The rest thrown into the black water. The sea hissed with flames. Bullets crackled in the distance. Then silence. Only the crackle of burning fuel. Kennedy gathered the survivors on a floating piece of wreckage. His back ached from the collision, but he kept swimming, dragging one wounded crewman behind him by a life jacket strap. They swam for 5 hours, through shark-infested waters, until they reached a small, uninhabited island. For 6 days, the crew survived on coconuts and rainwater. Kennedy carved a rescue message on a coconut shell. Noro Isle, Commander, Native knows. He can pilot. 11 alive need small boat. He gave it to 2 Solomon Island scouts, Biuku Gasa and Eroni Kumana, who risked their lives to deliver it to Allied forces. Against all odds, every surviving crewman was rescued. The PT boats never won the war. They were too small, too fragile, too few. But they fought with a kind of defiance the world would remember. In a war of machines, they proved that courage could be stronger than armor. As for Kennedy, the young lieutenant from Massachusetts, his nights in the Pacific left scars that would shape a president. The coconut shell that saved his crew still sits in the Oval Office today, a reminder that even the smallest vessel can carry the weight of heroes.